The Pittsburgh Steelers have a ton of questions this offseason. And one of the most important questions, right, heading into training camp, that involves Pittsburgh's lack or perceived lack of an established number two receiver behind George Pickens. I mean, there's been talk about trading. There's been talk of, the Steelers added the likes of Van Jefferson. Roman Wilson was drafted. But I think the answer, it might already be in the building. And I'm going to present that the answer very well might be third-year wideout Calvin Austin III. And to talk about Calvin Austin just a little bit, spent his rookie year sidelined by a preseason injury. It was a Liz Frank, really unfortunate. Calvin Austin III, he finally got his feet wet during the 2023 season. In total, appeared in 17 games, even started one for Pittsburgh. The fourth round pick in 2022, he's finally looking comfortable. And now he's starting to turning the heads of fellow players, of coaches. And the guy that's most vocal is his position coach, Zach Azzanni. He's in his first year with the Steelers. He absolutely is wowed by the third-year pro's work ethic. All the improvements he's made in his game in just over 8 weeks of work leading into mandatory minicamp earlier this year. So to hear it straight from his coach, he's been outstanding. That's a guy who's gone from here to here in just about 8 weeks. I mean, it's been really fun to watch. He's a worker. He's intentful. He's urgent. He wants to be coached, and you can see it because his game has done that. But it's kind of like proof is in the pudding, and he hasn't really contributed a lot so far. I mean, he came back from injury to open the 2023 season, but he found himself kind of buried on the depth chart. He was buried behind Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson. He was buried behind him. So in all, he played 18% of the special team snaps, 35% of the offensive snaps. He totaled 249 yards on punt returns and 237 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns. But his strengths, and I'm going to go to this story on bleacherreport.com. You guys check this out. It's kind of like some buy and sell players for this upcoming season. And it was headlined by Calvin Austin III. So kind of talking through this guy's strengths. He has unquestioned speed. He runs precise routes. This makes him actually electric with the ball in his hands. And we have seen it. It's been in bursts. So many different threats on the Steelers offense for opposing defenses to cover. Adding him, this is going to make this a formidable team. We've got Freiermuth. We've got Roman Wilson. We've got 2 really good backs. A revamped offense. We've got Art Smith, who has craved a running quarterback. So if Justin Fields, for example, if he gets up to speed maybe halfway through the season, Russell Wilson is going to be the starter if all things hold true for during this training camp. You might have a really dangerous offense. And kind of one of the biggest bursts, one of the biggest examples of what he can do to a defense. He had a 72-yard touchdown pass he caught against the Raiders last season. I believe it was in week 3. And it was just a fantastic display of what this guy can do with the ball in his hands. It was a catch and run. Jaylen Warren set a key block on that play. So that's really nice to know. And just really showed how this guy can take the top off the defense. So the Steelers are looking for playmakers, right, to step up. Azzanni believes Austin's traits can translate to the Steelers' new offense as well. I mean, he's worked to this point. He's getting acclimated. He looks like a really good fit. He's just got to continue his steady progress forward, and he could actually be a secret weapon that's just lying in wait that absolutely no one is talking about at all. And to hear it from Azzanni once again, I'm really, really excited for his season. If he keeps practicing the way he's been practicing, and it's just too bad that he missed that rookie campaign. That's been so tough from him. But he's coming off a really strong OTA session. He's continued that work into the situational football loaded first 2 days of Steelers minicamp. This was a report from during their minicamp. He was really the most consistent and reliable member of the Steelers wide receiver core outside of George Pickens. And that's from Alan Saunders of Steelers Now. So I think really it's really hard. It's really not that hard to buy in that the 25-year-old that he's set to have his most productive season yet. I mean, it's pretty easy to have a more productive season, but man, with on with some on-field experience last season, I think in a small sample size and with Deontay Johnson out, Calvin Austin has showed the promise necessary to possibly elevate him in training camp and give him some really excellent starters reps as they are preparing for the season. And we've also got another way of thinking through this, right? Guys like Cortland Sutton, Brandon Ayuk, I did a story on him a couple days. These are kind of a lot of rumors about guys that might be traded for, but you think of the price. You think of the draft capital or player capital, using a guy like Hightower to trade. Is it really worth it? Steelers have such a good history of drafting quality wide receivers. This one just happened to get hurt in his rookie season and got buried in the depth chart on his second season. If he is the answer and he's right in the building, we could actually be looking at a trio of receivers like is the vogue in NFL teams right now. I mean, the Bears have done it. Houston's done it. Why not Pittsburgh with the guys that they have in the season? So I would say that he is a very good choice. He is a guy to watch. And if we look at it too, Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson, the perceived starter to begin the year, he's impressed with Austin and he's been vocal about it. He talks about seeing shades of Tyler Lockett in Austin, and also new draftee Roman Wilson. He's been talked about with having a lot of Tyler Lockett in him. And that's high praise because with Russell Wilson, he played with Tyler Lockett for 7 seasons in Seattle. And this looked at Lockett catching 433 passes for 5,878 yards, 48 touchdowns, named first team All-Pro in 2015, second team in 16 and 17, also a Pro Bowl bid in 15. And this is hearing straight from Austin. Russell Wilson, he was just saying how I kind of reminded him of Tyler Lockett in some ways. And this was during a recent appearance on 92.9 ESPN. He was like, dude, you're extremely fast. He was like, man, I did not know that you were that fast. And that is high praise coming from him. And then if we kind of look back, I mean, that 72-yard touchdown bomb thrown by Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett, and that was on Sunday Night Football against the LA Raiders and Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know why I want to put them in LA in week 3 of the 2023 NFL season. And that play, he really showed off his 4.32 second 40-yard dash speed, and it was just really fun to watch. He actually won a fantasy football matchup for me because I was desperate and I plugged him in. Just really happy that I did. This guy, it looks like there's a total healthy return. He missed most of his rookie campaign with a foot injury. As I talked, he just really seems to be back to full strength and full speed. Gives the Steeler an added dimension that opposing defenses, they're going to have to